Very fine. Good evening, students. Today, in this tutorial, we will build a step-by-step React CRUD operation. So, create, read, update, and delete operation of a CRUD application. So, it can consume the CRUD RESTful API, which developed by Jersey. So, already the previous tutorial, we have developed the RESTful API using Jersey for complete CRUD activity, for get all users detail, get user detail by ID, then insert user detail, then update user detail, at last delete user detail. So in that user, each and every user having their own user ID and username and email and password. So this is what REST API was created in the previous experiment. Now we are entering into React.js. So normally React, which used to build a user interface on the front end side. So React is an open source project created by Facebook. So in this application, we will build a simple user management application using React.js with CRUD activity. So create user, list all the users, update user, delete user, view user based on ID. So these are the 5 CRUD activity. So basic activity. So start from a base. So initially we will already have built a backend application using Jersey. So the complete API was currently ready and tested in Postman 2. Now we are entering into build a React.js CRUD application. React.js CRUD application. In this React.js CRUD application, which depends on Axios for fetching data, then user HTTP activity 2. Initially, we start from a base. So you'll open a command prompt and entering into a required folder. Now we will create a new project in that C:/React. Inside that, the new project npx space create -react -app. So the name of the app is user management. So a bit error, already the files was conflict. So now it will be rename it as user_management. npx create -react -app user_management is our new project. So normally during this creation, which automatically creates the basic requirement, for example, which comprising of an index.js file and the dependency was index.css file, then sample app.js and app.css file too. So in addition to that, a package.json file was created, which comprising of all the required packages. So this is what a sample file was created. So the file which is named as package.json, in that file which contain all the required dependencies for our React.js project. So similar way, there is a folder automatically which create a folder named as public folder, which contain index.html. So a React is used to build a single page application. We have this single HTML file as index.html. Basically, it's an HTML template. Similar way, SRC folder. Inside that, we will create all the global JavaScript as well as CSS file. All the different components we will build inside SRC folder. Node modules. All the packages are installed inside the folder called as node modules. Now everything was ready. We will enter into our folder user_management. So change directory cd user_management. Then we will type code space dot. So the entire code, the new build project, which will be open in Visual Code IDE. Visual Code IDE. Yeah, there are folders src, public, and node modules, and package.json file also available. Now we will open the file which is called as app.js. So this is our core file which comprising of some set of content. So we will remove except div class name equal to app. Except that line, we will remove remaining things. Something we will type test and we will save the file. We will type test and save the file. Yeah, now we will execute the file using the command called as npm start. Open the command prompt and then type npm start. Yes, now the app was started and the message test was printed. Yes, fine, everything was good. Now I am entering into my command prompt and then I will stop this for pressing Control C. Yes, and I will add a package called as Bootstrap. So npm install npm space I or install. Then I will type the command called as Bootstrap and space the save it in a global. So space hyphen save. So press enter. Then Bootstrap was installed in your node modules folder. Yes, now you will open your Visual Code IDE and open that file called as inside src index.js. In the top of that, we will import a package called as Bootstrap. So import single quotes, import space single quotes inside that Bootstrap slash dist slash css slash bootstrap dot min dot css. Now you're entering into our command prompt and then we will type add a new package called as, for example, normally we are already created the Jersey REST API. So all those API which connected via a new package which is called as Axios. So Axios is an excellent package. We choose to, it's a lightweight, excellent package. So choose to connect all the current REST API. So you are here in this application, we are using Axios. So previous application, we are using Fetch API. Now this application, you are entering into the new model, which is for Axios. So npm add Axios, AXIOS, AXIOS. Enter. Yes. Yes. Now Axios module was added two packages. Okay, fine. Now entire things works fine. Now we are entering into our SRC folder in Visual Code IDE. And then I will create two folders. Inside SRC, I will create two folders. One which is named as components. One folder which will be named as components. Second folder which will be named as services. I will create two folder. One which will be named as components. Second one I will create which is called as services. So services, inside services, I will create a service file. So inside services, I will create a simple service file named as user service.js, ucaps and scaps. This is a class. So I will create in the same format, user service.js. Enter. I will type imrc. So it will create a class automatically. So import Axios from Axios. Yes, good. Now we will add a pack URL. So next line, constant space user all caps. This is a variable. So all caps user underscore API underscore base underscore URL. So user API base URL equal to double quotes. I will type my base URL. Base URL was in the previous application. I have already developed this API URL. So I will copy paste from my Postman. So I will open my Postman. This is a API, HTTP localhost, your port number /CSE user /CSE. That's all. This is a base URL. Users for getting all the users. Base URL till the end of CSE. So copy that and paste it here. And then semicolon. Now I will create a new class. Class named as user service. Open curly brace. Then inside the class, enter. Yes. I will type first function for get all the users. So get users. Ucaps. Yes, users. Open parenthesis, close parenthesis. This is a method. Open curly brace. We will use that function. So open curly brace. Inside that, which will return space axios dot. We are using get method for select all activities. So get. We will add users also in the top. So directly we will paste the same. So base URL we will add /users. Okay. Then get of user underscore API underscore base underscore URL. Caps. This is a variable. And this is for getting all the details from our Jersey API. Okay, fine. Now this was fine. Now we will create another method named as create user. Inside that, I will pass an parameter called as user. Then I will return, this method will return axios.post activity, return axios.post employee, user underscore API underscore base underscore URL, comma user. We are passing this user argument for user model for inserting a value. Yes, second is completed. Then third one, get user by ID. Then I will pass user ID, user underscore ID or user ID. User ID is enough. User ID. ICAPS. Then I will open curly brace. Inside that, return axios.get of user API URL, user underscore API underscore base URL plus, that's a concatenation operator, plus single quotes backslash plus user ID. Now third one was completed. Now fourth one, update user. Fourth one, which is called as update user. So update user, which need two arguments, one which is called as user, second one which is called as user ID. User comma user ID. Then return axios.put, because update which depends on put method. So axios.put user API base URL plus single quotes backslash plus employee ID, user ID comma user. We will pass both the things. Now at last we will delete user. We will create a method for delete user. Delete user, you are passing argument as user ID. Then we will open curly brace. Inside that, return axios.delete method. We will call the delete method. We will pass the URL as user delete user API base URL plus single quotes backslash plus user ID. Then now entire things was fine. Now my service file was created. At last I will export my service file, the last line, till the end of class. Export default new default new my file name, which is called as user service, my class name ucaps and scaps. Open parenthesis, this is a constructor, so open parenthesis, close parenthesis. There is no semicolon is needed here. Okay, anyway, semicolon is also not a problem. Okay, save the file. Now my entire service file was ready. My entire service file was ready, which used to provide the service. Yeah, now my service file was ready, which class was explicitly exported, so everything was ready. My package.json file is also ready. Now I will create the first component. So inside my folder components, I will create a new file which is called as list user component. .js. Yes, good. Now I will ask IMRC, so import that component. IMRCC. Yes, good. Then I will import my service too. So import user service. Not single quotes is not required. Directly type the class name. Yes, yes, good. Now user service was imported. Now we will create a class called as list user component. Yes, good. List user component. Extends component. So this is a component. So component is under component class. So base class was component. Under that list user component was created. Yes. Inside that I will create a simple constructor. So constructor which receive all the parameter in the object called as properties. So props, open curly brace. So you will pass the argument to the superclass component. So super of props. Then now I will create a state. So state variable this dot state equal to open curly brace. Inside that my state was user users, list of users. So users colon, this is RI. So colon, open square bracket and close. Yes, good. Then yes, enough. Now after this start state, after no, not required to add anything. Array is empty. Now initially array was empty. Later we will add that. Now we will add three basic activity. One for add user, second one for edit user, third one for delete user. So this dot add user equal to this dot add user dot bind of this. So this activity which will be bind of this. Similar operation for edit and delete. So then only a list can display all the details and which will be binded with add, update and delete. Yes, update user, this dot update user dot bind of this. Similar way we'll add delete user. So my entire activity was completed. So I will close my constructor. After constructor, I will add the method called as initially this method was called. So I will add a method called as component did mount of. Whenever this component was mount, this activity was called component did mount of, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open curly brace, close curly brace. Inside that I will call my method, that is user service, a class name user service dot. I will call the method called as get users. Open parenthesis, close parenthesis, dot. I will call the method. Then open parenthesis, again open parenthesis. I will type response res. So I will type res, close parenthesis. Function was not needed. Just a close. Yes, good. Close parenthesis. Remove function res only. Yes, after the yellow parenthesis, I will type equal to greater than, that is tends to, open curly brace. I will type the data, this dot set state. This dot set state, open parenthesis, open curly brace. I will type users colon res dot data. Now save the file at the end, semicolon. You will type enter here, and then okay, enough. Okay, not a problem. Okay, good. Now a component was mounted, so the user's object was set. Whenever the component was mounted, the user object was set. Now I am entering into my method called as render. I will type a method render of after component mount. Yes. Inside the classes, render method is also placed inside class render of. So okay, now I will type a method for return. Open parenthesis. Then just type enter. Inside that I will type my list file, new list file. So now inside return activity, we will create a div tag. So inside that we will open a header tag, so h2. So we will already bootstrap was added. So h2 space class name. The class name was text-center. So it will be placed in the center. Text-center. So now inside h2 tag, we will type user list, users list. Okay, fine. Now we will add the next line. Again, we will open a div tag, class name equal to row. Row, yes. Greater than, yes. Good. Inside that, I will add a button. Class name equal to btn space bt space btn hyphen primary. This is a button in the primary in the light blue color. So primary, okay. Now on click. So during button click, which will call the method called as this dot add employee. Inside curly brace, I will type this dot add employee. Yes. So sorry, add user. So at last I will place a greater than. Yes. So yeah, button was created. Now, okay, this is for first row. First row, I will add a button. After a button, I will use something break tag for after div tag. After div, this row for button. This entire row for button. Slash div. I will add another break too. One more break too. Okay, fine, enough. Now I will add another div tag class name equal to row. Inside that div tag, I will add a table. The table class name equal to table. Class name equal to table space table hyphen stripped striped space table hyphen border border. Yes, good. Now we will add a thread, that is table head. Something we will add a table head, t head. Inside that I will add a table row. Inside that I will add th. I will add the first data, that is called as user ID. UCAS. This is heading. Same way I will add all those things. th for username. Email ID and row. Then at last I will add another th for actions. Actions in the sense update, delete and view. So th actions. Just I will type actions. Yes, these are the heading tag, table heading. Then after slash t head, I will open t body, table body. Inside table body tag, I will open a curly brace. This is a block, curly brace. This block which will return the data from retrieve from REST API. So I will press enter. Inside that, I will type this dot state dot users dot. I will get the value from users. So this dot state dot users dot map, open parenthesis, enter next line. Inside that, user tends to each and every user which will be taken, enter next line. Then we will type tr less than tr, that is table row. Inside that, key equal to tr tag inside tr tag. Yes, key equal curly brace employee user dot id. Then the row, each and every row, the key value which depends on user dot id. Inside table row tag, plus enter, and then td user dot id td curly brace, open curly brace, td open curly brace user dot id. Similar for all the file, user dot name and user dot email id and user dot something called as row. We will open another td tag for actions. In that tag, we will type three buttons. So button, on click equal to button, on click equal to So something called as, we will call the method. So open parenthesis, on click, open curly brace, inside that open parenthesis. After open parenthesis tends to, we will call the method update user of user, update user of user.id. Update user is a method. Something, the method which is called using this keyword. So this dot update user, inside parameter we will pass user.user underscore id. If needed, we will change the class name to class name equal to ptn space btn hyphen info. Info instances light blue info. Then similar way, close the button greater than, and then slash button, inside that we will type update. Repeat the same for delete and view user. Okay, all the buttons are tightly coupled, so we will give a space. So in the second button, I will add a style in front of a style equal to open curly brace, inside again another open curly brace. Yes, inside that margin left, colon, double quotes, 10 pixel, 10 px. Copy paste the same for another second one, third one. Yes, now entire operation was completed. Verify whether div tag was closed and table tag was closed or not. Yes, entire thing was closed correctly. Now we will close the thing. Now the list component was ready, but yet we are not performing something called as edit, delete and view activity. That method was not written, but a list component for listing all those data which is completely, which is in ready state. So fine. Now we will add another two component, one for header, another one for footer component. So you will go for components folder. Inside that I will create a component called as header, just a dummy component. We will create a new component called as header component. So header.js. Inside that I will add component, something imrcc, and then class component header. Then I will add header component. Inside that add a constructor props, super props, this dot state equal to open curly brace, close curly brace. Yes, now after there is a render function, render of open curly brace, return of, inside parenthesis we will type div tag, and there is a tag for header tag. Then inside that navigation nav tag, class name equal to navbar, navbar space navbar hyphen expand hyphen md, navbar hyphen dark space nav, that is a theme for dark theme, space background bg hyphen dark. Then end next line inside nav tag I will type a div tag, whatever heading we will needed inside that we will place the heading, something called as user management application. That's all. Save the file. Similar way we will create a footer file too. We will copy paste the same for footer, don't waste time. Change header to footer. Remove nav and div tag, slash nav2, type something as span tag, class name equal to text hyphen muted, class name equal to text hyphen muted, something all right greater than. Inside that you will type all rights, copyrights, all rights reserve (2022) at CSE. Yes, save the file. Now entire thing was completed. Now we will create list component is ready, header component is ready, and footer component is ready. Now we will go to our app.js file. App.js file. Already there is a div tag class name equal to app inside that test. So remove the test and open something called as router. We will open that router. Open router. Inside that we will open routes. Inside that we will open route. Path equal to slash something exact path or path equal to, okay, path equal to slash space exact space something element equal to exact space element equal to open curly brace less than I think we will open slash, we will open the component list component. So something list user component slash. Okay, that's good. Now save the file. You will add something for router, inside router, after router, in front of routes. In line number 8 and 9, in between 8 and 9, we will add the header component to less than header. Just similar way, after this, we will add our footer component. So after this, yes, we will inside routes, after header component, I will add a div tag to div class name equal to container. Similar way, before footer, I will close the div tag. Now save the file. And now execute the file using npm start. Okay, React router was not installed, so I will install React-router. Similar way, I will install React-router-DOM2. Yes, entire thing was added. So I will start my application to verify whether header was added and footer was added, as well as the list was displayed the data or not. I will verify the error in my console. Something cannot define reading a path name. Something I will use browse router. If this router was not supported, I will use something called as browse router, browser router. The class name equal to something called as navbar hyphen brand. Navbar hyphen brand. Yes, now we'll remove these three binding. Yet these three binding was not added. So now save the file. Yes, now entire things works fine. Now we are adding the list component, user ID, username, email ID, and role and actions. But yet the value was not displayed. So you go to our console, our code, and then I will print the data in a console first. Go to something list component that did mount of. Inside that we will print something res. This starts at state. After this starts at state, or before this starts at state, I will type console.log res. Now save the file and execute the same and view the browser. XML HTTP request at localhost UCSC users from origin. This has been blocked by CARS policy. There is no access control allow origin header is present in the requested result. So which will display the error message because of CARS errors policy. So there is a CARS error in the sense cross origin error. So this is in a different web server. Your API, which is running on a Apache Tomcat server under the port number 3600. But now our React app, which is running on a port number, which is called a 3000. So both are in a different origin. So it's displaying the error message, which is called as cross origin error message. For solving this, we can allow this cross origin error. So after completing this, so we have created the proper user services as well as user list. So in that list, for solving the CARS error, so which displaying the entire user list like this. So which can collect the data from Jersey API, and the entire data was displayed, and then the button with actions. So something user ID, username, email ID, and roll number and actions. Now I will go to my Postman, and then I will insert the new user number 5, something called as user number 5 for post method, that is Raja123, mail ID raja@gmail.com, the role as student. Now I will send. So a new value was inserted. Now I will go, sorry, method not allowed. 1 second. Something HTTP. Yeah, yes. Now the value was inserted. Now I will go to my React browser. So it will allow. Refresh the same. So the newly inserted value was displayed. So the entire value which fetched from entire users list which fetched from the database and displayed something like this. So this is what something basic. Now here we are adding 3 buttons. One which will be called as update button. The second one which is for delete button. So third one which is called as view button. So in that button, during that click, which will be moved into that particular API, particular web link. So one for add, another one for. So here we have created 3 buttons. The first button for something called as update value. The second button, which is for delete operation. Third button for view based on ID. So during the button click, which will call that particular method. During the button click, which will call that particular method. So in that method, which fetching a data from that API, and we will design the page, and then we can perform the same. So you will see those things in the next slide. So this experiment, we will fetch all those data from the user list, so user database, and listing entire thing in a grid view. So I hope this session will be useful for you. So you can view and develop a project like this. All the best. Thank you.